Hey guys, Artosis here. Today I am going to bring you a game from the ladder starring none other than the greatest Zerg ever to have walked this earth. It is none other than Jaedong. This guy is absolutely one of the biggest legends we've ever had. Maybe the most beloved pro gamer of all time next to Boxer. Cannot wait to see some of his play here. He's in very good shape. Currently is qualifying for ASL without much problem and doing quite well, but not quite championship level, right? We haven't seen him do that since he's returned. His opponent is going to be a fearsome one indeed. This is the best player versus Zerg in the entire world right now. He's the best Terran, considering that Flash is still considered retired. This is light. And just to put this in perspective, right, like we keep track of all the stats of official matches, and right now the highest win rate in any matchup in the entire world, last time I checked at least a couple weeks ago, was light in Terran versus Zerg. He is absolutely dominating every Zerg. So this is going to be a very tough one for Jaedong. I haven't seen the game. I don't know how it turns out. So, you know, I'm hoping that it's going to be a strong one, but, you know, Jaedong is so good that even against someone like Light, I think we're going to have a pretty good, close, even match, right? Like we haven't seen Jaedong win those championships. We have seen Light get into that championship position, but, you know, it's a ladder game, and let's see how it goes down. I hope you guys are enjoying some of these ladder games. It's really great to see inside some of the practice of the very best players in the world, and be able to kind of cherry pick, right? Like, I mean, what would you rather watch right now than Light versus Jaedong? It's amazing. Now, we're on Neo's Sylphid, so it's a 3-player map, and Light is actually going to go ahead. You see he kind of popped down here to see if an Overlord was coming, turns around, and goes towards the other main base. So he's trying to find Jaedong as quickly as is possible, and he will find him on that first try. Jaedong, of course, his Overlord going down here, realizes, okay, it doesn't seem as if Light is down here. The SCV came from this angle, so his drone is going to go up and scout Light up at 12 o'clock. Light, scouting that it is, in fact, a hatchery first into the spawning pool and gas, goes for a very, very fast command center off of 1 barracks and 1 depot. And, of course, with that drone coming, he is going to have to take that seriously with his SCV. But yeah, you know, this is about as economic an opening as you can really get without taking massive risk from Light's point of view. And very likely from here, ooh, he might end up losing this SCV. 1, 2, so close. 5 health left on this thing. The drone trying to get around here and actually find a way to hit this, but it looks like Light just a little bit too good at clicking around the barracks. That was very, very close. I actually thought Jaedong was going to get that kill there. You know, drones can just do moving shot, but Light juked him. So very good move. Saves his SCV. And going to be happy with that, I think. Jaedong returning home with his drone, not losing that or anything. In the meantime, Jaedong with a very fast layer. Also getting Zergling speed, so maybe opening up a little bit of aggression, or maybe just a solid defense against Marines walking out. You know, one thing I need to mention here is this looks like it's probably going to be a standard, like it is a 2 barracks Academy rush from Light. And like oftentimes that just turns into like a very standard SK Terran type play. And Light is absolutely one of the best in the world at this, and he has been for a very long time. Like even Flash in his prime, Light is just as good at this strategy. This is the most mechanically demanding strategy in the entire game, is to macro out Marines and medics while microing them around the map and hitting irradiates, things like that, right? Like that takes the most speed. It's completely agreed amongst the 3 races. That's like the very, very intensive one. And that's something that Light is unbelievably good at. Mechanically, he is truly a god. So this is going to be very, well, I mean, a very tough thing to play against, right? Like, honestly, I think only JYJ is up to Light's level right now with those, with the Marine Medic Science Vessel type plays. But of course, Jaedong has played against this type of strategy for countless years at this point, and of course he knows how to play against that as well. He is going up into his Spire, has that second gas, starts a creep colony here just for some safety, and he's probably going to have to get a second one, honestly. This is a 2 racks Academy rush. So as the medics come out, generally what you're going to end up seeing is this move out, right? It's going to be like 8 Marines and 2 medics. This is very, very standard. Just before 5 minutes, moving out onto the map. and looking to pressure Zerg. Now, this is actually looking scary for Jaedong right now. He better pop a lot of Zerglings, or, well, I guess his Spire's finishing. So he starts his mutas, but it's only one sunken. One sunken gets broken very, very quickly from Bio. This looks good for Light. We may actually have a quick one here. It is a possibility. Now, he throws down the Evolution Chamber to block. This actually blocks the Marines from getting the surface area that they want. He is going to stem, heal a little bit, and then move in. Notice how this is blocking. Look at how 4 Marines aren't fighting this entire time. Okay, he finally is getting some of them up, and he does a lot of damage there as well. Okay, pops one sunk, pops the other sunk. This is bad news right now. So 2 Sunkens went down, the Evolution Chamber with the drone. The drones do get pulled out, but Jaedong has mutas, so he is microing his heart out right now, trying to take out these Marines. If he loses that hatchery, the game is all but over at that point. Jaedong taking a ton of damage on these mutas. Oh my god. So he ends up killing this, and not a lot of drones were lost, but overall, when something like this happens, I find it to be very heavily Terran favored. All right, so like 4 of his Mutalisks right now have basically no health on them. It's going to be really hard for him to push his agenda of harassment upon Light. You know, as soon as you have some turrets up, these mutas are going to end up dying pretty darn quickly. He does have a good amount, and the turrets aren't completely ready, so Jaedong is going to fly in there and see what he can get done. Of course, in the meantime, he gets his drones back to mining. And in fact, he had canceled his Zergling speed, by the way, and restarts it. So it looks like he had started that earlier as a defensive measure and decided to cancel it for more Mutalisks. Now, looking here, this is kind of frantic turret placement. These front areas are a little bit under-defended, right? He's got this one turret that's pretty strong. Okay, a couple turrets is natural, but those could be taken down by the mutas. Mutas come in and say, you know what, we're going to get rid of this, and by killing off this turret, it opens up harassment in here more, as well as here. So he can hit the depot, and in fact, that's exactly what he's doing. Some very good harassment here from Jaedong. And in fact, going after that bunker as well. If he can stop the bunker from being made, maybe he can back this up with Zerglings and take a quick victory himself. Jaedong, you know, having a tough opener, but really punishing Light here for not being completely ready for this Mutalisk harassment. You know, Jaedong was known as the greatest Mutalisk micro ever as well in his prime. And you can see he's definitely still got some of that here. Now, the bunker did get canceled. He's remaking it right here, and that's like, this is a very defensive placement. He's going to get 4 Marines in that bunker. He's going to continue to make turrets. This is like as turtled as you can get here. So he's trying to have this be like kind of a standalone location and then build units over here right around this set of turrets. So right now, Light trying to recover. Light is not dead, okay? Like, Jaedong's doing a good job keeping his 2 areas separated and may be able to punish him further. But as of right now, like, Light's getting a fair amount of Marines and medics, right? He's getting good production. Look at this. Another, well, 1 starport and up to 5 racks on the way. So, you know, he has taken some damage. It's a little bit hard to get into 2 starport science vessel right now. So it looks like he's going to go for 1. Looking back at Jaedong's base, well, he's going to make something. Okay, Evolution Chamber. Has a Hydro's Den with Lurker upgrade on the way. Has the Queen's Nest. We just saw a Light scan. He sees the timing of this, so he's going to know, for instance here, that there's no real potential for tank push, I would say. But he is getting the add-on. So, like, maybe we're going to see that. Also, I mean, there's always a possibility he sets up for, like, a mech switch, although I feel like you wouldn't be adding the 5th barracks in that case. So, yeah, it's a little bit hard to judge exactly what Light is thinking about doing here, but he might be afraid, for instance, of a bunch of lurkers coming up to contain him, in which case you will need, you will need those siege tanks to kind of push out of that before defilers get you. Now, 3 Hydras have been sent down to be made into lurkers at this 3rd base location. This should be a pretty easily defendable one. You know, these 3 high ground bases that you have on Neo-Sylphid, these are the easiest to defend with lurkers since you get that ramp. Light moving out onto the map with his Marine medic. He does have that +1 attack as well. Siege tank on the way. But again, you know, with the timing of this hive, it's hard to imagine a siege tank push doing much. I think we'll have defilers out with Consume before he can really push in and kill a base. So again, it might be just like a semi-defensive tank at this point. He does start that secondary tank. You're never going to get just 1. 2 is generally the number. Oh my god, tries to bust through. The 2 lurkers, though, end up killing 6 Marines. Not able to really do anything there. So Jaedong going to be completely safe on his 3rd. Light backing up. Jaedong bringing a lot of units out of the center. I think he's looking to either stop reinforcements or kill this army off. Let's see if he's able to do it. Jaedong coming up, just attack, moving right into sight. You know what? I have enough. The lurkers get targeted. He does pull one back and will be able to kill this entire army. So, you know, losing a few Marines, I don't think I heard any Mutalisks die there. And he does lose one lurker and some health on one. But you know what? Killing that group of Marines, definitely good, definitely worthwhile. In the meantime, we have the vessels coming out, irradiate on the way. I'm not sure if he got siege. I'm not entirely sure about that, but of course, siege not as strong once defilers are out. Anyways, sometimes you can just utilize these to push back lurkers. And you see Jaedong, ooh, vessel hunting, has those scourges. Can he actually kill off the vessel? Probably not right now. That was actually a very quick couple kills right there for Light, so he's got to feel pretty good about that. Jaedong, though, look at the worker count. 42 against 37. He has been extremely greedy here. You know, he's worked himself up to such a strong economy. Now, here comes this push. Siege mode is actually not done. Light did get it started, but look at this. We're almost there to consume. This is what I was talking about, where it seems like he doesn't really have the timing to kill. We're going to see about that in just a second. He is moving up with this push. Enough lurkers are burrowed, so he wants to use the siege tanks, irradiate onto one of the defilers. Consume is just about to finish. Wow, that irradiate's actually dealing massive damage here. Might kill multiple units. Oof, very good. But there it is. There's the Dark Swarm. So he's going to be fine. He's going to be able to hold. Oh my God, runs up with a ton of lurkers. Second Dark Swarm goes down. A flank of lurkers comes in, and oh my God, a huge amount of dead bio right there. Beautiful flank coming out of Jaedong. Blocks the tank push. Very well timed out. And now he has plenty of lurkers. Does he have that defiler? Yeah, the defiler's still sitting there, so he should be fine. Now, this isn't, like, we shouldn't say something like, you know, he just wins by getting the defilers out and the fact that Light made siege tanks. Yeah, the siege tanks didn't actually end up doing that much. They can still be utilized a little bit defensively. Sometimes you can go over here and, like, for instance, see this? Like, he could put, like, 2 siege tanks here and bust up the Nidus, right? There's a few different moves he could do. He can just kind of siege them up, force an extra Dark Storm to go out. But he's likely to lose them pretty quickly at this point. Yeah, look at that. Dark Storm goes down. But the Fire Bats actually battling so well. Targets down those Scourge as well. Keeps that vessel alive. And still has the 2 siege tanks. That was an excellent engagement from Light. Definitely has to be feeling good about that. Jaedong has to be a bit frustrated. He's actually lost a lot of lurkers. Looking at the game now, we are in a very similar position as far as worker counts go. Light is starting his 3rd command center. It's like, this is honestly maybe a little bit late. Generally, you want your 3rd base up by 12 minutes, but it's been kind of an action-packed game where he took a lot of damage early on, so it's understandable. Double engineering bay. So when you see the double engineering bay going, you know there's not going to be any sort of mech switch or anything. This is going to be pure bio plus science vessels. You know, we might end up seeing something like if it goes into mass Hydra Lurker, you could definitely see a lot of siege tanks at that point. If it goes in ultras, you could see battle cruisers at that point, right? There's like a lot of endgame scenarios that can occur, despite the fact that they've both kind of chosen the path they want to go on. Now, Jaedong throwing down some more Dark Swarms does get that Defiler irradiated. A little bit tough there. Pushing back this science facility. When you see the science facility up here, it's like for spotting. You're trying to watch units come out. But he's starting to see more Hydras that are actually in Hydra mode as opposed to morphing into Lurkers. So this, like, we can see that he's getting Hydra speed. As soon as you see that on the production tab, you know it's going to be Hydra Lurker Defiler, which is very popular right now. It's a very new, trendy way to play. And it's something that you generally need a lot of siege tanks against. So we'll see if Light switches into that. I have seen people play against it with just keeping the bile. By the way, he does utilize those tanks, like I mentioned, kill that Nidus. That is annoying for Jaedong. Those take a while to build. But yeah, this game is going to turn really interesting. I've seen a lot of games on this map that kind of look like this, where it's like mass Hydra Lurker Defiler, and then like Terran makes a ton of siege tanks and it just becomes an all-out brawl in the center of the map. So we'll see if that's how it's going to end up going down. These 2 siege tanks sieging up on the side, still trying to get a little bit of damage, but, you know, hard to make them work against Dark Swarm. Burrowed Lurkers just don't take any damage from those siege tank hits. And, of course, being on the high ground, you're going to miss some shots there as well. Let's take a look back here at what Jaedong is massing up. He's got the Hydralisk speed upgrade. He is getting the range upgrade as well as +1 ranged attack. We're getting +2 carapace as well, so very, very good upgrades. Light, of course, in the meantime, he has 2-2 on the way. He already has 1-1 for his Marines and Medics. And he has the 1 factory, but we don't see an armory yet. Right? We don't see a second factory yet. So we might, and here's the thing, he might be looking at this and saying, I'm not entirely sure if this is going to be Ultras or this is going to be Hydras, right, as the last piece of the puzzle for Jaedong's army, because it's got to be one or the other. And it feels like he might not realize which one it is yet, right? So if you're playing against Ultras, it's more likely you're going to stay off of Siege Tanks. Siege Tanks just are not very good against Ultras in small to medium amounts. But now with this many Hydras, he's going to have a good idea. And look, Siege Tank starting to be made. I bet you we see him throw down a secondary factory and an armory as well. Generally, you want to get vehicle attack upgrades to try to hold on against this. And just like lots and lots of Siege Tanks, like I mentioned. It's very hard to ever kill someone going for Hydra Lurker Defiler. It feels like they're invincible. You kind of have to starve them out. Now, Light is trying to break an almost unbreakable base. Kind of surprising how hard he's trying on that, but a flank is coming in from Jaedong, and look at that. He is going to go ahead and smash through this army, no problem. We'll lose a couple units, but clears it up. In the meantime, look at this hidden hatchery. This is actually a very cute move. With a hidden hatchery like this, you can throw a Nidus down and then suddenly reinforce here and take this base easily. Now, the Marines, I'm not sure if they actually see that. So that's... We're going to see, like, he's sending a bunch of Lings down here. He has drones already. If Jaedong can secure this base, it's going to be really, really big for him. Let's take a look back at Jaedong's main and natural. It looks like he is focusing on making a lot of Zerglings right now, maybe for some harassment, some counterattacks. Obviously, Defiler food as well. Not as many Hydras as I thought I would see with this. Normally, when you see this strategy, it's like really heavy Hydra, good amount of Lurkers, good amount of Defilers, and only a few Lings. Here, this looks more like a Ling Lurker Defiler play, but he does have the Hydra upgrades. He is still upgrading the Hydras. So maybe that's just something we're going to see a little bit later on. Jaedong pushing out onto the map, burrowing those Lurkers. A lot of scuffles going on. Notice how Light has more and more units in the center. He's trying to just hold Jaedong back as long as he can from anywhere. Anywhere Jaedong wants to go, Light doesn't want him to go. He just wants to slow him down, make it very difficult to push through. Nice little play goes down there, but overall, it feels like we're watching Light grind the army down reasonably well right now. Little Ling counterattack going up, but honestly, like this is the rally point, right? So I don't think he's going to get much done there. Quite a few Siege Tanks coming down. We do have a secondary machine shop as well as an armory going up. So Light has identified that he thinks that this is going to be like a prolonged Lurker Hydra Defiler build. So we're going to start to see the production of a lot of Siege Tanks, and honestly, I feel like you're not supposed to try to kill Zerg as hard. This turns a little bit defensive because, like, these armies that Zerg has, watch this attack come up. Jaedong bringing a big army forward. There is a bunker up here. It does have a fire bat in there, which is actually really nice, really helpful. And I think he's going to be able to push through here, right? You just throw down the Darkstorm, and there's nothing that can really deal with Lurkers under a Darkstorm. So when they get on top of a base like this, you do start to see the base fall really, really quickly. Now, nice Irradiates do go down. That's going to be one way you can, of course, deal with these Lurkers under the Darkstorm. The Irradiated Defiler runs into the mineral line to deal a little bit extra damage there. But it does look like this might be a doomed expansion right now. He is repairing it. He's trying to wait out this Darkstorm. If he can wait that out, obviously that's going to be a big deal. And maybe he can go up and save a lot of his SCVs still. Looks like he's going to send the SCVs under the Darkstorm because they can't hit the Hydras under there, and the Hydras can't hit them. So the Hydras having to be microed. Finally, the Darkstorm goes away. There is a Lurker Egg blocking this. By the way, in the meantime, another counterattack coming over. Jaedong burrowing. A lot going on right now. But it does seem like Light will save the space, despite the fact that he lost basically all the SCVs here. Right, this took him a long time to clean up, but he is going to save it, so that's good. He's going to be able to retain his 4th base location. Jaedong, though, already ready with another attack. And he has plenty over here. Great defense, as you can see. Really hard to push through. There is another attack trying to come in. In the meantime, ooh, Jaedong pushing up, plaguing on top of the Siege Tanks as well as the vessels. doing lots of damage. Look at this, runs up under that Darkstorm. Should be able to pick off these tanks if he can just target them. They're so low on health after the Plague. But no, Light is there. He has the Fire Bats mixed in. Very, very crucial for pushing units back under Dark Swarm. Don't forget the Hydras can't deal damage to units under Dark Storm because they are ranged units. So the Fire Bat splash will end up decimating them if you do not have other units like Lurkers under there with them. Now he comes up with a couple and just snipes those tanks. That was an important moment, right? Like, he's trying to get a little bit of extra damage. Does target down a vessel or two there. Jaedong getting ready for another attack. You can see Jaedong is like moving his armies left and right here, just looking for spots to get a bunch of damage done. And Light's doing a good job moving back and forth as well, right? He was down here defending, very quickly moved up to here, blocked the incoming attack. Looks like he's floating a command center, probably to this location. That looks like the only other base that Light should be able to actually hold. He has run out of minerals up here. He has almost run out of minerals. Looking at Jaedong's bases, basically out of minerals. Don't forget, we talked about this earlier. Jaedong was really greedy. He made a ton of drones. Way more, way earlier than we're used to. So he's actually mined out his first two bases quickly, which means this base is incredibly important. This base is incredibly important. And he's even taken a mineral-only base. You don't see that often from Zerg players in this matchup. Now, Jaedong with a little group out here actually is eating a lot of Fire Bats, which is nice. Looks like he has enough defense all over the place. These Hydras, you know, Hydras alone against well-upgraded Marine Medic, not something you really want to fight with. They need the addition of the Lurkers or the Plagues or the Darkstorms, you know, any of those. Make them quite challenging indeed to play against with the bio. Now, the command center is actually floating down here. Does he think he can hold this base? I'm not so sure about that. Still a lot of scuffles in the middle, as you can see. Jaedong maybe bleeding off a few more units than he really wants, honestly. Like these little groups out. Ooh, that's a good Plague, though. And look at the Fire Bats that are just continually being made. I think this is such a great improvement from Light to have those Fire Bats mixed in so you can't just walk around with Defiler Hydra. You have to have those other units in there or he will punish you. Now the one Muta. The hero Muta here with 5 vessel kills. Dude, an insane game going on right now. Getting very long as well. But that Muta killing 5 vessels is a huge part of this game right now. To reduce that vessel count so magnificently is, I mean, that's one of the most important things, right, is to reduce the vessels. They just gain so much value over time. And look at this. Jaedong looks like he should be able to hold on. He gets a Plague and the vessel. And, like, look, with the Plagued units going forward, the Lings and Lurkers should be able to clean it up relatively easily. And that is exactly what we're going to see. Jaedong crushing through right now. But Light does have a 5th base. This is the thing about Light. He's just so good mechanically. It's like, yeah, Jaedong's making a lot of great moves, but yet another base for our Terran player. Jaedong is taking another as well. Looks like he has another attack lined up for this base. This should stop mining at least for a little bit here, I think. Right? It's a good amount of Lings. He forces the lift off immediately. You know, Light says, I don't want any part of that, but he has a lot of siege tanks. This is a serious amount of siege tanks. You start sieging these up in the middle, like you're going to be able to hold on to positions like this. These smaller attacks that come in are not going to have much of a chance. Now look at this. He knows Light's army on a move command, so he actually gets to snipe a vessel or two there. The siege tanks coming down. This is a really powerful attack coming in from Light. Let's see what Jaedong has. So still a lot of Lings, 2/2 Lurker and Hydra. Has the Defilers in there as well. No base here yet. But this one, I mean, this is the next base for Jaedong that he really wants. He did end up losing that mineral only, which is a little painful, not the end of the world. Gas is more important, as you can see. And Jaedong is starting to get a little bit low on gas here, right? Like, his first couple geysers are definitely out. So he's going to have to be careful about this. Now, the tank sieging up makes it a little bit of a no man's land here. The rest of his army pushing back on these Hydras, but between Darkstorm and Plague, Jaedong going to hold on to this southern location below this base. You know, this is an important base as well. Like, he just started mining here. Of course, it's a reduced mineral and gas amount in those central bases, but still very important for the time being to kind of bridge him into securing this base completely. And who knows, maybe even this base later for Jaedong. So Light sieging forward. Ooh, just gets that Lurker before the Darkstorm goes down. A little bit unfortunate. Running forward now with his own Lurkers. Throwing down an additional Dark Swarm. Not able to get on top of the siege tanks, unfortunately. Those will be okay until Darkstorm runs out, and then they will get splattered. So what does Jaedong do next? He actually has a lot of supply, by the way. 70 drones, which is kind of insane, so his economy is really, really strong still. But, like, 145 against 168 is absolutely doable for Zerg, and in fact, generally considered ahead. You know, Hydras are only 1 supply. Zerglings are a half supply, right? So, like, that is a lot of Zerg units that you have. A single Hydra is better than a single Marine, right? So, you know, Jaedong, I think, still has chances here. Light, though, has so many siege tanks, it's making me really nervous. Light starts to come in, attacks into this base. Jaedong, oh, he loses the expansion. This was an incredibly important base, like I mentioned. This is going to bring him way down in expansion counts. It looks like he should be able to eliminate this Marine Medic army. But yeah, this base, like, he absolutely has to keep. Obviously, this base. And this base is starting to get low. So, like, we need to see Jaedong grow a little bit more. And it's hard to see how he's going to be able to do that. He's put out an amazing macro game. He's still got a lot of supply. But he needs to kill this siege tank count. It's just so many tanks, and you can see, oh my god, Jaedong just everything getting flattened as he tries to run up, trying to get some sort of spells down onto those siege tanks. Light going in, maybe for the kill here. This base, again, so important. A lot of Hydras coming at the flank, but the siege tank count is incredibly high, and even with the Darkstorms, their splash damage will wreak havoc on this Hydralist group. Jaedong, maybe with his last stand. You know, he's losing this base. He just lost all of his army. His supply has plummeted by 50, and he has no defense here. I think that's going to be an absolutely stellar game that Jaedong has put out here against the best Terran vs. Zerg player out there, and one of the very best players in the world. For my money, honestly, the best player in the world right now is Light. But GG is called, and Light is going to be able to take down Jaedong.